A happy accident would be the best way to describe my initial identity with the WWE universe, which is weird because if I didn't speak up and didn't have the courage to capitalize on that opportunity, I certainly wouldn't be sitting here in this wonderful uniform today. A bunch of my peers were freestyling on the back of an overseas tour bus, and I usually never join that peer group, but decided to join in. Everybody was impressed, including some decision makers at the front of the bus, one being the daughter of Vince McMahon, Stephanie McMahon. She asked if I wanted to play that persona on TV, and I was about to be fired, so as a last chance, I said, sure.
I'ma win this. I'ma make my impression. Show Vinnie Mac that I got ruthless aggression.
It didn't just rhyme. I tried to embrace as much hip-hop culture as I possibly could, and that kind of started this whole thing. The WWE version of John Cena has changed tremendously over the years, and for the last decade, I would say, has been a character with a cornerstone value system of virtue. And a lot of times, audiences now want to get behind a character who is flawed, like Peacemaker, who isn't completely steadfast in his value system and doesn't completely operate for, hustle, loyalty, and respect and the foundation of pure virtue. People want more depth in a character arc. In the WWE, we are just playing a role, but I kind of do this for all of the roles, whether it be Peacemaker or John Cena or whatever. I have to try to look within myself and take moments from my actual life and see how I felt and try to put that into a character. I'm not exactly somebody who kicks in your front door and rips through your house in jean shorts and a t-shirt, ready to throw my hat at your parents and ask you to a last man standing match. But I know what it means to be excited. And if I need to conjure up an emotion of, let's say, sadness, I look back on my life and, remember when I was sad and hopefully find some sort of emotion I can grasp onto and then put it into, well, why would my reflection of this person think they're sad? It takes a certain type of individual to go out there and play your hit song every night for 2 decades. There are decisions I can make, but I don't make, okay, now John Cena is going to be a bad guy. I don't make that choice. Then I can be like, okay, I'm never going to be a bad guy. How can I nuance a virtuous character? Would it have been great to be able to mess with the flaws of WWE John Cena? Oh my goodness. I think there's another 10 years worth of story in there. But it's not my choice. I don't run the Dwayne Johnson's trajectory is concerned. He's broke down so many stereotypes, shattered so many barriers. He allowed the outside public to be like, yeah, these WWE guys, they may be onto something. None of those opportunities happen without him. By doing what he's done with class and professionalism, has given opportunity to folks like me, where people are like, yeah, okay, well, I'll take a chance on John. I don't think Dwayne understands the impact he's had on an entire industry of people. He gave me some great advice when I got the audition for Trainwreck. The audition process is scary for me, like it is for most people, and it is a business of failure. You got to be used to getting told you're not the right fit. And I really wanted this one, and deadpan Dwayne was just like, just be yourself, man. They called you in for a reason. Just be who you are. And I was. The superhero universe, the DC universe, it has that universal appeal, very much like WWE. People around the world just get it. Certainly the nature of the comic books, you don't really have to read the caption of what's going on. You can follow a comic and kind of get the story picture by picture. So it transcends language, and it's fascinating. These people have magical, mystical powers through whatever circumstance gave them those powers. Great narratives there, and you develop a cast of characters. The world likes this stuff. And me trying to become a better performer on screen, these are positions you want to be in. If you could get invited into a superhero universe, people are going to see your work. That's the end goal for every performer. You want to be seen, and you want to give it your best shot. You want to be appreciated. I pretty much tried every comic book there was, and then somehow found my way into a band of misfits called the Suicide Squad. And it wasn't because I was top of the list either. If you talk to James Gunn, he had a lot of trouble casting Peacemaker. There's a lot of names before me. For some reason, he got to my name in the phone book and said, okay, is he available? And I flew up to Atlanta to talk to him. It was very much like the creative head of WWE when they heard something that they were like, yo, would you want to do that on TV? Yes, I would.
Nothing like a bloodbath to start the day.
They call you Peacemaker.
I cherish peace with all my heart. I don't care how many men, women, and children I need to kill to get it.
In doing my research, James told me, don't read the comic books. Read the script. This is a comic book persona that has a bunch of existences out there from different people putting out comics about Peacemaker. So I'm just going to make my own thing.
Peacemaker.
Starfish is a slang term for a butthole. Think there's any connection?
No.
I saw Peacemaker especially with this outfit, so I began to take cues from like George Patton, who was always the most vibrant looking general in a photo. And why would you wear a vibrant uniform to lurk in the shadows, so to speak? Then I started taking personality traits of like MacArthur, sort of first on the battlefield, and then trying to harness that attitude of like a proud soldier who, if he's gonna have a team behind him, he is gonna be the one to tough love motivate that team. And I really gravitated towards Lee Ermey's role in Full Metal Jacket. So I wanted to be that sort of persona, and it fit the words because Lee Ermey rattled off a litany of curses that would make anybody proud in that movie. And he said it with such conviction and such direction that it made sense. So a couple takes like that. And then finally James is like, no, wait, this isn't what Peacemaker is. He's a douchey Captain America. And that was it, is a wrap. I wish he told me that months ago. And Idris and I just riffed, and everybody was like, what the fuck happened? Like, where did all this come from?
But if this whole beach was completely covered in dicks, and somebody said I'd eat every dick until the beach was clean for liberty, I would say no problemo.
Why would someone put penises all over the beach?
Who knows why madmen do what they do?
One, our perceptions can be different, and I'm very fortunate to have the trust and faith in James. When he said that, I didn't be like, no, he's not. I view Peacemaker as this, so he's this. James is the director. He's the one moving the chess pieces. And he tells me, okay, your chess piece is this. Got it. Okay. The Marine was a wonderful experience, and it's one I'll never forget because you can't have a journey without the first step. And the first step is always the boldest. They say timing is everything, and I was not ready for the opportunity I was given. You know, I always spoke about how I was courageous enough to step up when I was asked to embrace hip-hop culture on WWE programming. Well, this was a decision made to open a studio and to try to diversify the abilities of WWE superstars. The WWE has a tremendous talent, and it's not just physical talent. I believe their performers just have a knack to know audience. Their improvisational skills are second to none. They possess so much more than just physical gifts. And Vince McMahon, agreed with this philosophy, opened a studio, and figured if he could make WWE superstars also movie stars, it would be broader reach. The movies would obviously generate profit, but furthermore, we could get more people to come to the WWE shows. So me being just enamored with the WWE, and it was my life's passion at the time, I said no problem. This was originally a role that was written for Steve Austin. And 2 weeks before shooting, Steve backed out for whatever reason. That's a conversation with him. But Vince said, hey, I got to send you to Australia. It's okay, what am I doing? He said, well, you're going to be in a movie. Okay, when? I got to send you in 10 days. But I pretty much left a small meeting in his office and packed my bags and went to be in the movies, which I knew nothing about. So I'm a young man in his mid-20s. I love the life I'm leading. I'm riding a lightning bolt of live audience every night. I'm champion at the time. As a former athlete, I get to be physical all the time. I have what I believe is a good work-life balance. And then I get thrown into cinematic creativity, which is very patient. It is a very slow process. And I just wasn't ready for it.
I've seen him kill 3 people. My wife will not be number 4.
I can't give you permission to pursue.
I'm not asking for it.
I'm actually very, very proud of the movie. You know, Robert Patrick, who I got to work with on Peacemaker, he plays Augie Smith, my dad. It was great. What a full circle moment that was to see him again. He did a tremendous job for us on the Marine, and the movie did well. People talk to me about it to this day, so it's great that, you do something that people remember and maybe affects their life, which is really cool. But my mind was elsewhere. At the age and the time of my life, I wanted to be in the ring. And I looked around and I always figured if if I'm going to do action, why am I doing it here? Why don't I do it in front of 15,000 people? Because it's so much cooler to do it then. And I only have to do it once, and there is no wrong, and it's live. At the time, I didn't realize what I was doing. I never realized I was becoming a more seasoned professional. I never realized the nuggets of wisdom I would take from my peers. I never realized what the value of that opportunity was. And I just, I chalked that one up to being young and ambitious, just not too wise.
Hold it right there, cop.
The audition ended up being, we read the script a few times, and it's me, Amy Schumer, and Judd Apatow. We read the script, and Judd was like, yeah, just put the script down, just riff. And Amy was so inviting, and Judd was so great, so we could just talk. And they're all very funny, so it ended up being funny.
Oh, I am about that life. No,
like
I will get crazy up in here. You like movies? We'll make a movie.
Oh, God.
We'll make Mama Say Knock You Out, starring my fist in your dick hole.
Oh, shit.
I'm so lucky that people will smile and chuckle from timing or something I do on camera. But I think the most important thing is surround yourself with really funny people. Judd and Amy assembled a crew of all-star comedians. And you just give them an environment to feel comfortable and do their job. And just be as present as you can and have as much fun as you can, and don't be afraid to fail. You got to be like a goldfish in WWE because you got a show the next night. If you perform poorly, you can come back and say, that sucked. Okay, it sucked because of why? And then you go out there and do your best to do it the next night. Stand-up's very similar. So maybe that's why workshopping and improving the material, I had a little bit more courage. Amy, Judd, they created an environment that it was okay to bomb. Because you could tell 80 bad jokes. All they need is one that makes them chuckle. And that's the one the audience is going to see. And they created an environment for me to miss and fail and learn. Being able to be invited into the Fast franchise, it was awesome. It was awesome. I grew up on these movies. I love car culture. I love the fact that this movie was nobody saw it coming and it took the world by storm. I love how the franchises evolved into this like super, almost weird superhero without capes, spy movie, underground crime scene, but good guy, big caper, fight evil, save the world type of stuff. It's one of those franchises that truly listens to their audience. When their audience says they want something, even when they joke, what are they going to do? Go to space? Justin Lin's like, you're damn right we're going to space in a Pontiac Fiero. It's had enough installments now where the stakes are still serious, the characters are still well developed, but in the same movie, you get winks to the camera. And I really love the franchise, and cast and crew, man, they're a family. You walk on set, and these people have been doing movies together for 20 years. 20 years. I've never seen anything like that except the WWE locker room, but had a great time. This is a legacy project for these people. There's very few franchises that get to the 9th installment and can still say they're kicking ass. These are people that made me better performers. So anytime you can make a leap from one level of skill to the next level, nobody does it by themselves. No one, regardless. Everybody has help in anything we do along the way. And Vin and Justin especially are two people instrumental in helping me get to the next level. I'm so lucky to be able to say I was part of the franchise. Ron has a backstory that is pretty intense and has a set of skills that are pretty admirable. But it's not what defines him. You know, it's a guy who's reached a point in his life where he realizes, and probably because of his past, he realizes that life is the most important thing, the living of the life. So you take brave and courageous chances and you enjoy the moment. And I don't know, he has this level of wisdom about him. And it's probably from being such a worldly individual, or maybe, you know, riding that razor's edge of existence and non-existence. And it's just cool to see a guy who doesn't care about the stresses that all of us build a construct under. And it was wild to just be like, yeah, man, whatever. It was just so cool to do that. But he wasn't totally enlightened. And that was another cool twist about Ron. Like, he seems like he's enlightened, but he's not. He still has depth. He still has places to grow. He still has flaw, especially with Rel and like with Meredith, certainly being like a soulmate for Ron, but kind of the polar opposite. The differences were just so great. And Rel is so fast and high strung and like animated and fun. And Ron is just like, no, man, we got this.
You know, they say money buys you freedom. But how can you really be free if you're thinking about making money all the time, right?
Well, I guess it's your welfare checks I've been paying.
Possibly. Possibly, Marcus.
You know, start with Clay writing a great script with a bunch of jokes, and you get a cast full of funny people, and you let them be funny, and you just kind of be present. Travis Knight took a bold chance on me. It wasn't like, I'm going to bring you onto this role to tell jokes. He was like, you would be a great Agent Burns. And if you watch all those coming-of-age films, the bad guy is kind of jokey. Serious but jokey, whether it be a principal or a parent. They have that authoritative stance, but then they kind of wink at the camera a little bit.
There's a door in my way!
Once again, Travis was really great on being like, do you want to just take a take? My answer is always yes. And there would be points where Travis was like, we don't have time. We're moving on. But when he would give me a take, to see this tough guy dressed up in tactical gear, talking about stuff you'd never think of, it just lightened the mood. And I think then he was like, okay, he should be the guy to let everybody know that they're called Decepticons. And we should hit that on the head, and he's the right guy to do it, and this is the right setting.
They literally call themselves Decepticons. That doesn't set off any red flags?
Enough!
I guess that was his ability to pick up on that and give me a little leeway. We talked about me essentially taking the role in the Marine for granted. That's exactly what I did. I wanted to be somewhere else. My philosophy has changed probably since 2012, where everything that's put in front of me, everything that I'm blessed or grateful enough to receive, I always appreciate it. And I try to do the best I can.